Hi, welcome to Dean Park. In this video I'm going to update you on the progress of the TMD. I've also got some rolling stock updates along with a kit build that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you also how to do a metallic worn surface as well. I've also got the exciting conclusion to my scale model scenery competition, which is going to take place on this video, where I'll draw the winners. Good luck to all those who've entered. Cheers! Last month this was really what the TMD Office resembled. It was a card mock-up of an offset T design, a two-storey building, and what I've done since then is I've been working hard on the design and I've fabricated the parts for it, and we're now really ready to move on to the next stage. Okay, what you've got here is you've got 7 individual parts, and they have been joined at the corners with tabs, if you like, cut out in the sides of each part to slot together perfectly and accurately. We've got a 5 section here of windows with a main door here. You might think that's quite big for an individual window, but they were made up from a single piece of plastic to give a 70s building appearance with kind of Formica panels there. So it'll come in one piece, but it'll be separated by a panel. Each side is individually designed to give a different window variation depending on small windows for, say, a store cupboard or a stairwell, large windows for the office blocks, etc. So that's the outer shell. It's made from 2mm MDF. The inner shell here have got the individual windows, because obviously, as I just said, that's going to be the panel, so that will slot inside there. Okay, so if I put that in there now, slot down, move the magnet out of the way. Like so. We've got individual internal walls, if you like. And those windows at the back will line up, or they do line up with the slots at the front. So there gives you an idea of what it will look like when the windows are in. That will basically sandwich the plastic window section in between the outer and the inner skin. The inner skin will be painted with interiors, the outer skin covered in brick. It will be a flat roofed construction as well. Looking a bit closer in, you'll probably see the tabs at the corners there. Okay, I've made them, as I said, to mate perfectly. These are interchangeable, the ends are interchangeable. So for example, there I wanted the small windows, I could just switch it round and I've got spare bits cut, and it allows a bit of personalisation and alteration depending on what you want the interior to, the floor plan to be laid out as. So the next stage really is to fit the brick plastic embossed card to the bare MDF outer skin. plastic brick card on the faces of the MDF now, and I've now glued them all together in the offset T design using the magnetic mates, and it's all dry, and as you can see there I've got a nice offset T design for my TMD office. Now the inside parts there, as you can see there as well, I've done all the brickwork inside to give a bit of depth. The windows, the small windows, have not got brick inserts because the window will be almost flush with the outer wall anyway. And there was very minimal filling needing to be done at the corners because I'd left a little bit extra on the plastic card as it came to the corner, so they kind of overlapped one corner, so it was nice and neat. There was no bare and exposed bit of MDF. Takes a bit of planning, but you know, if you take your time and measure it all out, it can come together very easily. Next stage for this is to go and prime it, and then put the brick paint on and do some brickwork. Okay, this gives you some idea of the double skin nature of the building. As I said, in between those, the window units will be sandwiched. I had to design the inner bits to fit in with the thickness of the windows in mind, which was just over 1.5mm, and obviously to allow for the narrower sections at the end, because the windows would push each of the outer sections in a little bit. So it's all to be calculated. Thank goodness I like maths, because there was a bit involved with this project, I have to admit. Obviously I've not got the end bit there because that is what I've just glued up, which I'll be trimming shortly. Now, the windows that I'm using have been cut for me, windows and doors anyway, from York Model Making, and they come in a window section, and these bits have just been hand painted just now to show you where the kind of Formica panels be, and there's the door section, which is slightly different in there at the bottom. Okay, so they're just a representation of what it will look like. So if I now sandwich those in between the inner and the outer skin, without it falling to bits, that gives you an idea of what it will look like. Obviously the thickness of the floor will come up to the top of the bottom of the door here, so it's 4mm thick floor that I'm going to put in, and I'll have a 4mm thick floor for the upper section, and then again a 4mm thick MDF cut roof. This bar here is just for supporting, for the supporting section of the roof and for the rigidity of the building. As you can probably see down there, that's your fire exit. There'll be a stairwell here, but more on the interior in a future video. Something I've been working on this month is a gantry walkway for a night wing fuel storage area. And what I did with this is I painted it with Tamiya acrylics through an airbrush, and then applied some metallic lacquer paint onto the tread pattern walkway, and then I wait for it to semi-dry, and then I scrubbed it and brushed it up with an old paintbrush to give a kind of worn silver tread pattern appearance. You might be able to see it on the camera in parts. I also did it on some of the handrails to give the appearance of, you know, the paint's come off the handrails having been handled and lent on over a period of time. I'll show you in the next clip how I used this lacquer metallic paint. Okay, in the last clip I showed you the walkways and the tread plate on the gantries, and I was going to show you how to do them. It's very simple. What I did first was I used a Tamiya acrylic in dark grey to give it the base colour. Before that, obviously, I primed it. Then what I've used for the actual top coat, the metallic one, it's called Mr. Metal Colour, and it's dark iron, and I got this from eBay, and this particular number is 214, and it's a lacquer paint. It's almost like ink in consistency, so it's very watery. Now if I was to open it up, okay, I don't think you should get this on your hands. Certainly doesn't come off the brush very easily. I've got a, shall we say, a specific brush I now use for this, and you can never really get it clean. Bearing in mind as well, it's quite smelly, so work in a ventilated area. Just touch the surfaces. I'm going to do these panels here. You can see the ones on the left there, how they've been given that metallic finish, like the worn tread plate when the light shines on them. I'm going to do the same for the ones at the right hand side. Now if you put a nice good coat on them, it'll apparently give you a better chance of getting a good worn effect. Too thin a coat, like I put here previously, it's not going to get the effect. I say it's very ink-like in consistency. The lacquer paint has now been given 15-20 minutes to dry, and I've just lightly buffed these two, and you can already see the difference between the unpolished and the polished surface. And what I've done to do that is I've just taken this old brush again and I've just scrubbed it over the top. You can be quite heavy-handed with this. Again, it's an old brush. I'm not doing it any favours, but then again, it's never going to be painting anything with finesse again. Now you can see the difference between the bottom one, which I've just done, and the top one, which is still to be touched. It just gives that impression that the top of the checkered plate is basically worn. Now if that's not easy, I don't know what is. Effective, worn, tread plate, checkered plate, metal surfaces, painted with this lacquer paint, dark iron, allowed to dry for 20 minutes, scrubbed and brushed up. You can use a cloth as well, even use your fingers actually, but again, I'd caution against that, it's quite mucky stuff. And it gives a worn appearance. Now you would really just take some weathering powders, some earth, rust, grime, and giving it a really used look. In the first TMD update, I showed you these vertical fuel storage tanks, and I'd mocked up a small brick-edged tray for them to sit in. This month I've been working on a bit more detail regarding this project, which I'll show you just now. What I've done with this is I've brick-lined a gravel area using 2mm MDF with Southeastern fine cast embossed plastic for the brickwork on both sides, inwards and outwards, Umbro 70, dry brushing with different tones, and a wash of 121 Umbro mortar. Technique for painting the brick, I've done a video on previously, the link's at the top of the screen. I've obviously got two areas here, and that would be for fitting the vertical tanks. How I did that was I had a couple of spare of these ring sections from the Nightwing kits, so I placed them in and then scattered the ballast round about and glued it down with Woodland Scenic cement. But before it dried I took the spares out, if you like, to leave these two crisp edged holes, and that means that the tanks fit in perfectly, so it looks like they're embedded in the gravel, not just sitting on top. More realistic. I've also got this concrete edging, which I'm just about to weather in the next clips. As you can see there, it's made out of 1mm plastic card with scribed kind of slab joins in it, if you like, for the different parts of the slabs there, concrete slabs. Also what I've done is I've made some stairs, scratch built the handrails out of wire, they are there, and solder them and then just attach them to the side of the steps, and these will go either side to allow access for maintenance and use of the fueling area. What I've also done here is I've got some pipe work which will attach to valves on the front of the fuel storage when I've weathered the actual tanks, and these were made up using the Nightwing's pipe kits, and I've kind of adapted them to suit my own needs, and they're sitting on two concrete blocks to raise them up to the height of the valves, and they're made out of MDF and painted with concrete coloured paint. I've also got, because that pipe there will go towards the wall, I've got a matching pipe from the other side which will take the fuel supply down underground to the fueling area, and I've got obviously valve wheels to fit on these areas there. Additional pipework that I've also used, because the kind of valve area that you fit onto the front of the two tanks has got two holes in it, so one will have the red oxide pipe and the other one will have these kind of grey discharge pipes. So they've got matching pipes on each side. Also, if you look at that, it's got a hole there. I've made a pipe and that should sit in there like so to replicate. You also see I've got a hole here, that's for a pipe, and I've made a pipe here that goes into the ballast, and it will sit on top of the hole there and have a pipe down the side of the tank. Finally, with this, I've got a drain cover there, and it's a white bit of white metal kit there from the Nightwing fueling point kit, and I've just painted it dark grey and then used some dark iron metal paint on it, using the same technique as I showed you in one of the earlier clips for painting metal and then getting the worn effect. Well, as you can see, that's the fueling storage all now assembled, and it's been given a weathering with the airbrush. The wall has got a grimy effect on it, as has the concrete slabs around the top. I've added in the valves there and the extra pipe work, and it's all been toned down with weathering through the airbrush, and I've added in the steps there. If I tilt it to the side there, zoom in a little, you'll see the pipe work, intricate pipe work that I've put in. There's the red oxide dirty main pipes to connect the two tanks to the outlet, which will appear out here, and then there's the grey fuel pipes with this larger pipe up the side there. Weathering on the tanks has been subtle with various tones of greys and browns, just to give it a worn down appearance, and so the grey's not so stark. I didn't want to do too much because I didn't want to cover all the rust techniques that I'd employed on the tanks themselves. If I pick it up carefully, now well, it's picked out on the camera, but there are dirty ballast spills around about where the pipes come out. Okay, and I say the wall's been given a light dusting of grime. The outward steps I've still to be put in here, but that'll be fixed in place once it's on the layout. I'm quite pleased with how this has all come together using the Nightwing kits, and the rest has been scratch built. It's certainly going to enhance the appearance of the TMD. This is the location that the tanks will be placed in the TMD, and the left hand side of the shop will go off to the TMD offices. Road tankers will also have access to fill up these tanks, as well as be connected to the other end of the TMD where there will be rail replenishment facilities as well. So tankers can come in pulled by a loco and replenish all the tanks at the TMD. Time for some more shout outs. I really enjoy doing the shout outs because it gives people who watch my videos the chance to discover channels that they might not have seen before. Gives them a bit of publicity, and you know, I take ideas and tips from many channels, so by checking out a whole load of different channels, you know, you're kind of giving yourself more experience and ideas in the hobby. My first shout out is to Pennyhill Junction. It's based on the modern GWR region, and features Hornby's excellent IEPs. So if you want to check out that channel, click at the link at the top of the screen. My second shout out is to Chris Carter, and he has the 4 Oaks Street Station layout, and it's an N-gauge layout based in British Rail in the 1960s. So once again, if you want to check out his videos, the link's at the top of the screen. My third and final shout out this month is to St Michael's Hill. He's got a great series of live footage shots, especially of the newly repainted Class 50s in GBRF livery. So if you want to check out that video, the link's at the top of the screen. Some modifications I've made to some of my rolling stock this month have been the weathering of the barrier wagon at the left there, and also the nuclear flask wagon. I've also had the number removed from the top of the flask. The numbers appeared a little bit later than the Dean Park era, so to kind of backdate it to my layout, I've removed the numbers from the top prior to the weathering. Okay folks, it's now time for the Scale Model Scenery competition draw. The first prize is a £10 gift voucher courtesy of Justin across at scaleModelScenery.co.uk. The second prize, courtesy of Dean Park, is a Really Box platform from Scale Model Scenery. The non-Facebook prize is for a Rat Timber Load kit. The response for this was huge. In this box here I've got all the names of the entries for the Facebook competition, which I'll pick 2 names out shortly. I've jumbled them all up. No expense has been spared in getting a tin for the draw, so you can't say that I'm cheating and picking in any way. I'm going to delve into the lovely Rosie's tin and pick out the winner. So for the first prize of the £10 gift voucher courtesy of Justin, the winner is Billy Baldwin. Congratulations Billy, you've just won a £10 gift voucher to spend at scaleModelScenery.co.uk. The second prize, this is for a Really Box platform courtesy of Dean Park. The winner of this prize is Laura McWilliams from UK Diesel and Electric. Well done Laura, you've just won yourself a Really Box platform kit. The non-Facebook competition, once again no expense has been spared in the preparation for this draw. This was actually the mock-up for the TMD Office turned into a box, and there's less entries for this because a lot of you are on Facebook and entered that competition. So the winner, better do this fairly, the winner for that prize is Trevor Hurd. It's a non-Facebook winner. So well done, Trevor. You're the winner of a wrapped timber load from scalemodelscenery.co.uk. I'll be getting in touch with the 3 winners and we'll arrange for your prizes to be sent to you. Thanks for everyone who entered. I mean, there was hundreds of entries. It really was encouraging to see so many people buying into it. It was a bit of fun. I'll be doing it again in the future. The response has been great. So thanks for everyone who entered. Cheers just now. Well, that's it from Dean Park. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and some of it's of interest to you for using possibly on your own layout. If you want to check out some other videos, please do so, and if you want to see some more action from the BR era, check out Richard from Everard Junction. The links to follow.